captured the leader's yellow jersey in the mountains. But the defending champion Jan Ullrich thrives here on the plains and is waiting for any mistake by the Pirate. Along with a young American, Bobby Julich, who is poised to become the first U.S. rider since Greg LeMond to stand on the podium in Paris. Today, the final individual time trial, man against the clock and his own limitations. On what could be the decisive day of the 85th Tour de France, Mother Nature has decided to play a role. Wet, rainy conditions here at the start at Monceau-les-Mines as Frankie Andreu of the U.S. Postal Service team rolls out of the start house, the first American to get underway in today's individual time trial. Hi, everybody. I'm Terry Gannon. One wet day left until the spectacle tomorrow on the Champs-Élysées in Paris, in a race that has given us some of the best competition out on the road in recent memory. Unfortunately, it's also given us the biggest scandal in Tour de France history. From the time that Team Festina, the #1 team in the world, was thrown out of the race in week 1 when a medically supervised doping plan was discovered, it has taken on a life of its own. Police conducted nightly raids at team hotels, hauling riders in for questioning and drug tests. In protest, the riders stopped the race twice and threatened to abandon at one point as a group if those raids continued in the same manner. In all, 7 of the 21 teams that began the race in Dublin have either quit or been driven out of the Tour de France. It's been an interesting 3 weeks, and this issue is a long way from being settled. But for the last 3 days, the riders have raced without major incidents. So here we are. It's come down to a 32-mile individual time trial, the outcome still in question, and an American right behind the leader. Well, we're thrilled right now to welcome in another great American rider who has been a 2-time stage winner in the Tour de France, Lance Armstrong, and happy to report that Lance has come to terms with the U.S. Postal Service team, plans to race in the Tour next year. Lance, first of all, I want to get your take on the doping issue and what has taken place in the Tour this year.
Well, clearly it's been a bad situation. Having been in the States for the last 3 weeks and watched from afar, I realize that it's a very big issue and one that, again, has been very unfortunate. One thing that sticks out in my mind is that the riders have been abused and the system has been abused a little bit. As an American and someone who takes their freedom and their justice for granted sometimes, the French have a system and a code called Napoleon's Code, which basically means that you are guilty until you prove yourself not guilty. I have a hard time understanding that, but that is the system and that is the grounds for the raids. It's been a very unfortunate situation, and the riders, I think, are fair in being a little upset.
And that's what the protests were all about this past week, with the riders stopping the race a couple of times. Back to the actual race, though. Today's individual time trial, it comes down to this. Marco Pantani almost 6 minutes ahead of Bobby Julich. Jan Ullrich right behind him. What do you expect from the big 3?
Well, like you said earlier, we have some pretty severe conditions here with wet roads. Could be very slick. The course is not flat. I think it's a challenging course. Pantani needs to ride a smart, conservative race, avoid potential flat tire situations, and not crash. I think the real race is for second place on the podium, and my feeling is that the podium is set. We can only see a reshuffling of the top 3, and Bobby's gonna need the time trial of his life to stay ahead of Jan Ullrich.
So the Pirate Marco Pantani's main focus today, besides Bobby Julich and Jan Ullrich, dealing with these wet, dangerous conditions on the road. Of course, all the riders are going to have to deal with the rain today, including the man who had a career day back in the first individual time trial. Tyler Hamilton of the U.S. Postal Service team would love to repeat stage 7. He was second best on the day, right behind Jan Ullrich, who is the best time trialist in the world. But look at how things have changed since the end of stage 7. Ullrich had a 1 minute and 18-second lead over Hamburger and Julich. Now he's 5:56 in back of Pantani. Tyler Hamilton was a minute 30 back on that day. Now Tyler 1 hour 37 minutes plus. His teammate Vyacheslav Ekimov of the U.S. Postal Service team, a minute 46 back on that day, well over an hour now. Abraham Milano, one of the favorites coming into this year's Tour de France, he abandoned early. Well, Jan Ullrich getting ready for a big task ahead of him. He beat Marco Pantani by 4 minutes and 21 seconds in the first time trial, but today has to make up about 6 minutes. American George Hincapie set to go. Lance, what about his tour so far?
George has had a great tour along with a great year. He's the U.S. champion. He was close to the yellow jersey. But the Tour de France isn't over. I predict he'll be close tomorrow. He wants a stage win, and tomorrow's his last day.
It'd be great to get it on the Champs-Élysées. Let's take a look at today's route, brought to you by Mercury. No real climbs, but plenty of rolling hills in the 33 miles to the finish in Le Creusot. There are 3 time checks along the way, including one at the 16-mile mark near the town of Mochenan. Tyler Hamilton out on the course. Look at the concentration on his face right now.
Tyler's having a great time trial. Clearly, he's excited about his first one. He was second there. He realizes he can do well again today. I remember telling the direction of the Postal Service 2 months ago that Tyler Hamilton is the next star of U.S. cycling.
And there's Bobby Julich. All he is doing is getting ready for the biggest day of racing in his career. In second place behind Marco Pantani, fighting to see which spot he'll occupy on the podium. Meanwhile, Marty Jemison about to get underway, one of the many U.S. Postal riders who has pressed the lead, nearly won stage 13.
Interesting thing is that Marty didn't even know he was going to ride the Tour until about a week to go.
He is off and riding on a wet, miserable day, and so is George Hincapie up ahead.
Like I said earlier, I think George has a tremendous chance tomorrow. He hasn't won a stage yet. He was close to the yellow jersey, but him or Frankie want to win tomorrow.
But this is the last major test for the riders of the Tour de France, this individual time trial. For a look at that, here are Phil Liggett and Paul Sherwen.
Well, difficult condition today in the time trial, which is now underway. But, you know, this event today, not just important for Marco Pantani and Jan Ullrich, but in fact for all of the American riders in the race. But why for people like Tyler Hamilton, Paul?
Well, Phil, for Tyler Hamilton, he has to confirm the performance he did in the first time trial in this year's Tour de France. But it's important for the whole of the U.S. Postal Service team because they moved up yesterday into 3rd place in the team rankings. And a good ride in the time trial today will take them to Paris in that slot.
So they're aiming to improve their team position, but the man who's aiming to hold his individual second place overall is Bobby Julich. So it's a very important day for him. And there's added pressure because his whole family's turned up.
It's going to be the most important time trial of Bobby Julich's life because he starts the day 14 seconds ahead of Jan Ullrich. For him, the time trial performance he puts in this afternoon is going to make a difference between 2nd or 3rd place in Paris.
Those places still to be decided, but this is an important day for Tyler Hamilton, too. He was looking forward to this after his effort in the first time trial. But at the first check, the 10-mile mark, he is in 5th place in terms of those who have already ridden. During the first time trial, he was first at every split. Back in the start house, here's his teammate, Vyacheslav Ekimov, getting ready to go.
Being a part of the Postal team, I can tell you that Ekimov is the foundation of this team. He's the quiet leader. People really look up to him, as I do myself.
And up ahead on the course, Marty Jemison, who is going to finish his 2nd Tour de France in just 2 tries. You have to be impressed with that.
That is very impressive, not to mention the fact that this is the 2nd year in a row that the Postal Service has finished every rider on the team.
And here is Frankie Andreo, just a day after being in the lead group throughout the entire stage, coming across the line with his effort in the time trial. Getting ready, another American. Yeah, he rides for a French team, and a teammate of Bobby Julich, Kevin Livingston, will get underway when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 1998 Tour de France is brought to you by Mercury. Go ahead. Imagine yourself in a Mercury. And by Festina Watches, the official timer of the Tour de France. European style, Festina watches are new to America.
American rider Kevin Livingston about set to get underway with the time trial.
Of course, Kevin is one of my best friends and one of my best friends in the peloton for sure. Very happy to see him doing so well. I think he probably sacrificed a little bit working for his team leader, Bobby Julich.
Worked for Julich in the mountains. This is Marty Jemison. Of course, his splits are not going to be good enough to win today. He is not a time trial specialist, but does a lot of the things you have to do as a rider to help your leaders.
Absolutely. Marty is a team player. He's a domestique. He has to do a time trial in the rain today, which I'm sure he's not very happy about.
His teammate, Jean-Cyril Robin, gets underway. Frenchman riding for the U.S. Postal Service team. This is a team in their 2nd year that has made noise throughout the entire Tour de France, day after day. Tyler Hamilton, what makes him so good as a time trialer?
Not only does Tyler have a great time trial position, but he's lean and strong, a perfect combination.
All of the riders on different bikes today because it is an individual time trial. John Eustice takes a look at the one that Tyler's on right now.
Contre la montre, against the watch, beat the clock. The time trial is cycling's purest form, and a time trial machine is completely different than a standard road racing bicycle. Now, the engineers at Trek Manufacturing back in Waterloo, Wisconsin, asked themselves, how can we make Tyler Hamilton go faster in a specialty event? Let's begin with the frame. On this Trek time trial machine, the frame tubes are aerodynamically shaped, but conform to the new International Cycling Union rules. This area, the pedaling action, is the same as on a standard road bike, but it's the front end where you'll see the major differences. It's cut away to allow for these special wing-shaped handlebars. Now, these handlebars have two positions, fast and faster. They're designed to draw Tyler farther forward and down for decreased frontal area for better air penetration at speed. Now, there's a difference in the wheels as well. Solid carbon fiber in the rear, spoked carbon fiber in the front. A machine like this costs around $8,000, but there's no way you could buy one. In fact, the only way to get one of these is to get yourself a contract on the United States Postal Service cycling team.
John, thank you. Here is a man we have not talked much about, but Michael Bogart is in 5th place in a fight to get up to 4th or maybe even stand on the podium if he had a huge day today. The champion of Holland, he has ridden many times in these wet conditions. George Hincapie. And Lance, how different is a time trial from a normal day on the Tour de France?
The two things that stick out most in my mind when I think about a time trial is number 1, pain, and number 2, loneliness. It is what they call the race of truth, and it truly is.
Hincapie continues with his effort today, and there is Christophe Raniero in 4th place, right ahead of Michael Bogart. Raniero much better in the mountains. He has done a lot of work for Bobby Julich. He's done a lot of work for Team Cofidis, keeping them on top of the overall team standings. And Tyler Hamilton, he was second best at the second checkpoint. At the 16-mile mark, he had increased his speed, getting stronger as the day has gone on.
On the road, Tyler knows the fact that he's getting better. First time check, he was 5th. Second time check, he was 2nd. He thinks he's getting better. He's motivated.
And the Pirate getting ready to perhaps secure the yellow jersey for the final time today, trying to fend off Ulrich and Bobby Julich. Marco Pantani rides in a bit. Top 3 set to go. Jan Ullrich moments away from beginning his effort in today's individual time trial. Ullrich trying to make up 5 minutes and 56 seconds on Pantani. Meanwhile, Tyler Hamilton has gotten stronger as the day has gone on.
At the final time check, Tyler was 1st, and I think he knows it. He's sprinting to the line. He wants to do a good ride.
Just as in the first time trial, Tyler Hamilton coming to the line. He's going to post the best time of the day in terms of those that have already ridden. Well, it's always a spectacle, that final day on the Champs-Élysées. They have finished there since 1975, finished in Paris since 1903. Join us tomorrow for our 1-hour special, the Tour de France, ending up on the Champs-Élysées at 5 Eastern Time, 2 Pacific, right here on ABC Sports. And again at 12:30 early Monday morning on ESPN. Well, here they go. The top 3 set to get underway. Jan Ullrich in the start house. Here are Phil Liggett and Paul Sherwen.
And the countdown now, a very late arrival there by Jan Ullrich. He literally just got on his bike, Paul, and he's out of the start house. Now, I think it was a late call to the line, or he hadn't realized time was passing by.
He just wanted to start this time trial as hot as he could. He was on the rollers to the one side of the starting gate until the very last moment. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as he started on time, he did it just right.
So Jan Ullrich warming up until the last possible moment today. Up ahead at the 16-mile time check, the halfway point, Darius Baranowski of the U.S. Postal Service, the best time of the day so far. Let's go back to the start.
A smile from Bobby Julich in the start house. It came from the crowd. His parents are here and his fiancée. They're expecting some big results from him today so he can proudly board the podium on the Champs-Élysées tomorrow. 2 seconds to the departure for Julich, and Julich is now on course with all of the pressure that he will now feel as not an arrival in the Tour de France, but as one of its stars.
Well, the last week of the Tour de France last year was a revelation for Bobby Julich, because that's when he produced his best performances. He was 4th in the final time trial around Disneyland Paris. And today, a good performance here would really put him in front of Jan Ullrich, but it will have to be superhuman for him because really Jan Ullrich is a #1 favorite for the time trial here.
And that leaves only one man to go in the time trial, the Pirate, Marco Pantani, who wears the yellow jersey, trying to hang on to it and hold off Jan Ullrich.
And there we go. The countdown has begun for Marco Pantani, the last starter of '96 today in the Tour de France. He's chasing them all. A good ride today will make him the winner of the Tour de France for the first time. And to crown it all, the rain has started as well as the top riders have got underway.
So Marco Pantani underway in the rain. And up ahead, Bobby Julich doing everything he can to at least hold on to second place, if not make a run at the Pirate. A team player for the U.S. Postal Service. Can't use those skills. You're all alone in the time trial, though. His teammate, Tyler Hamilton, happy about setting the best time so far.
The beginning was hard. It was about 10K gradually uphill, and the pavement was pretty rough, so I felt pretty awful at the beginning. But then I felt like I got it going, and I think the only thing that slowed me down was, the wet roads, and this pain on the roads is it's like ice when it's wet, so you got to be really careful.
So Tyler Hamilton, another fine day in the time trial. Not quite what he did in the first one. That would be hard to match. George Hincapie, with all the success in the first week, so close to the yellow jersey. He is coming down to the finish line now. Hincapie going to finish the Tour de France. Well, the ESPN 2 boxing series continues from Boston. A 12-round IBO lightweight title bout. Challenger John Scully taking on the champion Drake Thadzi. 16-0, 11 knockouts for Thadzi. That's Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, coming your way on ESPN 2. Back on the road in the time trial, Vyacheslav Ekimov, the speed specialist for the U.S. Postal Team.
Well, Paul, here is the arrival of Vyacheslav Ekimov coming down the straight. We've had Tyler Hamilton come in with best time of 1 hour 8 minutes 50. He was knocked off by Facconi with 1:7:47, and now it looks to me as though Ekimov is going to get the best time.
Well, Ekimov's been posting good times out on the course field. Third at the first time check, second and second again. And coming up to the line, he's going to try and push the time of Facconi over the limit, and in fact, he's done that. 1:07:40. That's a new best time for Ekimov.
Ekimov, a time trial specialist for the U.S. Postal Service team, sets down the best time of the day in what could be his final effort in the Tour de France.
Here's the arrival of, halfway for Michael Bogart. He would have been on a good ride if it had been the arrival of him, wouldn't he? Bogart trying to challenge the time of Baranowski, but he's a long way off that today. And very difficult conditions now, especially this particular checkpoint here, because of the chicane they ride through over the Canal du Centre. And now he accelerates out into the country again. But as you can see, his time there a little bit off the pace of Baranowski.
For him, what's more important is his time compared to that of Christophe Renero, because he hopes by finishing 4 seconds ahead of Christophe Renero, he can move up into 4th place. And there is Renero in the King of the Mountains jersey, trying to keep 4th place for France.
It's going to be a tough fight for Renero. He's a very good climber. That's why he's got the King of the Mountains jersey on, but he's a little less of ability at the time trial.
And we'll be back with more of our coverage of stage 20 of the 85th Tour de France in a moment.
The crowd politely applauding the Italian Marco Pantani, this popular figure all over Europe, as he continues to accelerate on these little climbs. They're only little drags, but he's trying to keep his rhythm going right up to the summit and then settle in, change the gears up again as he goes over the top. Pantani, well, he looks pretty good, Paul. We've got no idea at the moment how well he's going because no time checks are coming at us just yet. But Pantani looking quite settled.
Well, these are the parts of the course that will suit Pantani. He will try to lose as little time as possible on the short uphill climbs around this area, because for him, this is the part where he can actually rival men like Jan Ullrich and Bobby Julich.
That's right, but this climb is it's only a shallow climb, but it's actually hurting him here, and he's having a little trouble holding his rhythm, I think. Ullrich looks so good. It would have been nice to see Jan Ullrich come through at the same time that Miguel Indurain was at the height of his career, because these two time trialists together would have given us some terrific performances.
It would have been some great battles, but look at the speed now. Ullrich picking it up to maximum. The clock now reading 60 kilometers an hour on that slight downhill part of the course, but he'll slow down again once he gets the big gears going and start on another of these undulations on this course. It's a very tough testing time trial course around here today for the man with great power and the ability to keep accelerating every time he hits one of these climbs. Now this is the next time check for Jan Ullrich, and we'll get a chance here of seeing just exactly what he's gone through there in.
Well, best time at that point is Roland Meyer, 20 minutes 50 seconds. We'll wait for the timekeepers to tell us what in fact Ullrich has done at that same point, but certainly he looks to be riding very, very strongly indeed now, Jan Ullrich. Remember, he lost his lead with one bad day. This is Bobby Julich now, the long flat road of the time trial. As they say, it's the loneliest game in the world, riding a time trial. Now you can see why. It's you, your body and your bike, and you've just got to produce the goods.
Bobby Julich doesn't look as if he's showing any signs of weakness at the moment. The upper part of his body very firm over the machine, the power all coming from the lower back and the legs.
Roland Meyer, who's been setting the candle burning brightly at the check so far, now moving towards the half distance, and it looks as though he's hit the wall, Paul.
Well, he started off very rapidly indeed. That is a major mistake to do on a course like this because it is very tough and testing over the last 20 kilometers. He may well bounce back, but for him, he has to try and keep the speed high.
Now Bobby Julich in the top of the picture there is the banner for the 10-mile check, the 16 kilometers check. Ullrich went through with the best time so far, 19 minutes 28 seconds. Now we'll get the first indication as to what Bobby Julich is doing. Remember, 14 seconds the difference between him and Ullrich overall this morning.
Julich now starting to push it. You can see a little movement coming into the top half of the body. He's trying to keep those big gears turning over. For him, this is a very important time check because psychologically, if he's performing around about the same level as Jan Ullrich, he will get good morale from that. He'll be able to push himself just a little bit further. And the time coming through, 19 minutes and 55 seconds. So he's 27 seconds behind Jan Ullrich. So for the moment, he's losing his second place overall in this year's Tour de France.
But you know, I don't think that's too much of a surprise, Paul. But again, if Ullrich has misjudged his start here, because it's the second part of the course where the riders are picking up or indeed losing big time, Ullrich might be making the right decision to start a little bit slower. Now Pantani, Paul, heading for the banner, and the first chance to see what his gap is.
Well, he goes across the line there, explosive and energetic, but he is losing time on the biggest man on the road, Jan Ullrich, at the moment. And I've made a quick calculation there that he has to go 21 minutes and 20 seconds through the line if he's losing a maximum of 7 seconds for every kilometre. And I don't think he's lost that amount of time.
Well, he's settling in now. He's over the top. He's gone through in third best time. So look at that. The top three riders in the Tour de France now proving why they are just that. Ullrich, Julich and Pantani. Pantani, time trialing brilliantly, has conceded in the first 16 kilometres only 49 seconds of his lead.
And that makes 3 seconds for every kilometre, so he's well on schedule, riding perfectly, and he'll take, I think, good heed from that because he knows now that he's pacing himself correctly. He doesn't want to try and win this time trial. He just wants to make sure that he conserves enough of his advantage to take the yellow jersey up to the Champs-Élysées tomorrow afternoon.
Enjoying another solid day. 1 hour, 10 minutes, his finish. Back near the midway point, the second time check. Christophe Raniero, who is in 4th place overall and having a little trouble.
Well, here comes Raniero, and in fact, we missed it there, but just round that corner, he went down, Paul, and he's got back on his bike, and in fact, news reaching us that Ullrich is not very far behind catching him.
Ullrich's around about 25 seconds behind Raniero, but he's taking too many risks around that corner. And what happened was he just lost it a little bit. He didn't go down too hard because he was up rapidly. And there, the police escort showing that Jan Ullrich's going to be pretty soon behind him. And there he is.
Well, this is amazing. This is the halfway check here. Ullrich has taken 3 minutes out of this rider, and he's picking him up, and he's come around that corner a lot better because, in fact, Raniero made a big mistake. A number of riders have slid with their back wheel on that bend, and now Ullrich is looking to catch his first man on course. He's gritting his teeth, and he just wants to get on with the race. An amazing character. Baranowski still best time here with 41.18. We're waiting now, though, to see what Jan Ullrich has done to improve that.
Look at the face on Ulrich there, concentration and pain. He knows today he's going to put in a very big blow. This is the crash of Raniero coming around the corner there. He just managed to hold it upright, jumped off his bike, and that's fairly good bike handling. And he's up and quickly back onto his machine again, throwing off his sunglasses who he hopes the team will pick up. But now Ulrich with 25 kilometers to go, going under the banner there, which will then give us the time check to give us an idea just how well he's performing.
Well, there's your answer, Paul. 31.48. He's gone through nearly 2 minutes quicker than Baranowski, best time previously. So Jan Ulrich is building speed all of the way towards the finish. And Bobby Julich a little bit further down the course. That'll be his next port of call, and let's hope he pays attention on that very dangerous chicane.
Julich picking his way around the roundabout there, making sure that he doesn't push it too far, because the roads are very treacherous here, because the rain keeps coming down intermittently, and rather than have the roads completely washed of grease that's left by a lot of the cars, in fact it makes it much more dangerous, because there's just a slight coat of water on the roads here, and if you push it too fast then you just drop the machine.
Well, there's Bobby Julich still trying at the 10-mile, 16-kilometer check. He was 7 seconds slower than Jan Ulrich. Ulrich seems to be gathering momentum now, having gone through 1 minute and 54 quicker than Dariusz Baranowski. Now Baranowski heading up towards the finish, challenging the time of Andrei Teteriuk. He's the best man, didn't finish very long ago with 1:7:38, and Dariusz Baranowski's going to swing the leadership back to the US Postal team. They had it originally with Hamilton, then they had it with Ekimov, now they've got it with Baranowski as he comes up to the line. Waiting for the arrival of Baranowski. It's a long sprint up this little gradual incline towards the line. It's going to be close, but he gets it. 1:7:03. Dariusz Baranowski, the new leader. Bobby Julich still looking like the very good time trial rider he is. He'll know now that he's under pressure from Jan Ulrich. He knows that probably his second place finish in Paris is slipping away. I suppose deep down in his heart he knew that would be the case, but he's still riding for a third-place finish in the Tour de France, and that in itself is a tremendous achievement by this young man. He's coming round now towards the point where Raniero fell and where Ulrich caught Raniero. Now let's hope he takes it just that little bit easier around the corner. Change of expression there as he saw the chicane come towards him. The left bit's been accomplished. This is the sharp one, and he's made it with care, and he's taken it very well indeed. So Julich through the chicane to the applause of the crowd, just the maillot jaune to arrive there now. And we'll soon find out what Bobby is doing at the check. 31.49, Jan Ulrich went through, 32.15 at 26.7 seconds. Paul, he's gone over the distance between the two checks at exactly the same time as Jan Ulrich.
Doing a great ride. He's pacing himself perfectly over this time trial here. You can see the concentration on his face as he comes into this very difficult part of the course, but he will know exactly how difficult it is there. He would have looked at it this morning, but Jan Ulrich's doing the ride here, Phil. He's caught Raniero, he's passed him, left him for dead on the side of the road there, and now Ulrich is powering his way towards what is certainly going to be for him victory in this time trial.
Well, you're a confident man, Paul, because there is Julich having held Ulrich over the second stretch. 27 seconds it was at 16 kilometers. It's still 27 seconds at 26.5 kilometers. You know, Ulrich may tire and Julich may have judged his effort to perfection. We'll find out, of course, as the race unfolds. Let's go back to the maillot jaune. Rain on the camera lens here. It is pretty heavy out there now. And these riders are racing for their podium positions in the Tour de France. Well, Raniero is hooked up to the back wheel of Jan Ulrich. He'll get a penalty for that if he keeps it up for very long. He also might unsettle Ulrich.
And Ulrich, in fact, looking across there, I think quite surprised to see, in fact, that Raniero had managed to stay up alongside him. So that might affect him mentally over the latter part of the course, because he would have thought that he was going to just blow by him and open up a gap quite quickly.
Here's the halfway check at the Pont de Moron, then Pont de Moron for Marco Pantani. Let's hope he watches out for the bends. He'll be unaware that it caught Raniero napping. Pantani then, Paul, have you worked out what he needs to do at the moment?
I think he's doing quite perfectly now coming round the corner here. He's still while on schedule, still losing around about 4 seconds per kilometre. And look at the time there. In fact, he too has ridden well over the middle section of this course, because again, he's not lost very much time to Jan Ullrich in this section of the course.
49 seconds he lost in the first 16 kilometres. This has been a little bit more technical in places. Now, Julich lost nothing whatsoever to the second time check. Pantani, it's still counting. So he's lost a little bit of time now. He's gone over a minute here, Marco Pantani, over this second sector of the course. A minute 15 he has now conceded off his lead on the Tour de France. But remember, Paul, he's at the halfway of the time trial now.
So Marco Pantani losing time today to Jan Ullrich, but certainly not enough to threaten the yellow jersey. We'll be back. Already gained time on both Bobby Julich and Marco Pantani. The day after he cracked in the mountains, he showed his heart. Today, he shows his talent. Here's Phil Liggett.
Axel Merckx now looking for a finish, and the worthy one at that is mouth wide open. He's hoping for a place in the top 10 of the Tour de France, and he's put in a very good time here. He has got stronger and stronger over the closing kilometres of this time trial. Baranowski's time there, best time so far. Merckx isn't going to get that. It's still a little way to go up to the line as well. But Axel Merckx could well be climbing into the top 10 in the Tour de France today. And that was his big ambition at the start this morning. His first Tour de France, and his dad will be proud of him if he makes a top 10 in Paris tomorrow. As he comes to the line, Paul, 5th place so far. He won't slip away too much now.
So the son of a great champion finishing. Earlier we saw the top 3 go through that second time check. Right now let's take a moment to check the time differential, brought to you by Festina Watches. Jan Ullrich setting the standard. Bobby Julich 27 seconds behind him. And Marco Pantani a minute 15 behind Ullrich. So right now Julich is in 3rd place overall on the road behind Ullrich. However, between the first and second time checks, Bobby Julich stayed even with the time of Jan Ullrich. So at this point, he still has some time.
And Bobby Julich, well, is he losing or is he holding on? At the moment, we believe him to be 33 seconds behind Jan Ullrich. But he still looks like a man that's got plenty of strength, Paul. He's not looking like a man that's hit the wall at all. He's still racing.
He hasn't hit the wall. He's still got the power. He's using a huge gear, using as much of his body as he can to keep that big gear rolling over. That's the only way he can rival Jan Ullrich. And Bobby Julich, I'm quite amazed at how well he's progressed in the time trial, because he came to the sport really was reputed as a man capable of being a good climber. It seems now that his climbing has disappeared a little bit, because he climbs with power, unlike Pantani, who climbs with acceleration. And look at the time check now, Phil. The next time check for Jan Ullrich coming through the 45-kilometre mark is 55 minutes and 52 seconds.
Well, that is 3 minutes quicker than Baranowski, who's still the leader at the finishing line. And so Ullrich has gone through 55.52, and we're waiting for the arrival at 45 kilometres now of Bobby Julich. But this man now is absolutely flying. That's about 28 miles in 55 minutes for Jan Ullrich. That's a tremendous time. Here's Bobby Julich now. He knows he's got to live with a man who's really finding his form today in Jan Ullrich. But it looks to me as though Bobby Julich also rising to the occasion and also looking very, very good out there.
He looks strong. He's still got the ability to keep the big gear rolling over. He's fighting on this part of the course, which probably suits him a little better than it does the big German. Jan Ullrich is a big, heavy man who has to use his power on all of these climbs. And Julich still accelerating, still waiting to try and keep himself in contact, and still probably hoping that he can finish in 2nd place in Paris.
Here's Jean-Céline Robin. He's putting in his finish now, and it's going to keep him in a nice finish in the Tour de France. It will be a 6th place finish for him in Paris tomorrow. He's lived with the good time trial riders today. His teammate Baranowski is still on the leaderboard as number 1. But I do believe the last 3 riders to finish are going to push Baranowski down to the 4th best time of the day, as Pantani continues to annoy Ullrich and Julich. He is not losing enough time to lose that maillot jaune.
So the Pirate, just like he did when he won the Tour of Italy, stronger when it's all on the line in the final individual time trial. Continuing to fall, Marco Pantani continues to pedal. An extraordinary effort so far in this time trial. And he's got to know that well ahead of him, Ullrich's doing the same.
as we now go into the last kilometre now for Jan Ullrich. It's going to be some time when he gets there, because Jan Ullrich is about to take his third stage victory of this year's Tour de France. He's not riding there, though, as the maillot jaune of the Tour. He's been riding as a man trying to pinch back all of his lost time. And in front of him now, and he'll catch him for 6 minutes, he might just be denied that pleasure, is Michael Bogert, and that puts into the picture now, Paul, the quality of the ride of Jan Ullrich.
Nobody can say this man is not a good time trialist. Today what he's doing is proving that he is the best time trialist of the new era, because Miguel Indurain has retired from the sport, but Jan Ullrich is going to be the next best time trialist.
An amazing performance by Jan Ullrich. He has already passed one rider, Christoph Renero, near the halfway point. He had trouble in a turn, and Ullrich just blew by him. Now he gets close to Michael Bogert, who got out of the gate 6 minutes ahead of him.
Jan Ullrich now coming up towards the finish on the tail of Michael Bogert, and the champion of Holland could well feel the hot air coming now from this great time trial rider from Germany. He's, as Paul Sherwen said, he won't win the Tour de France this year, but my goodness me, he's going to go down fighting, isn't he? That's Bogart. Here comes Ullrich now. 1:07 the time to beat. He's going to just be on the line on about 1 hour, 4 minutes. Terrific cheers now as Ullrich hits the finish. 1:03.52, an average speed of 31 miles an hour. That is unbelievable.
He may have experienced one bad day in the Alps, but make no mistake about it. In the individual time trial, when the rider is alone with no one there to help you, Jan Ullrich is the king. Let's take a look at today's race summary, brought to you by Isuzu. The final places in the 98 Tour up for grabs when the day began. Jan Ullrich roared out of the starting house, took 49 seconds out of Marco Pantani's time by the first time check, and now is leading Julich by 54 seconds and Pantani by 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Let's go back to Bobby Julich on the course.
Here is Bobby Julich now, racing up the home straight to that time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, 52 seconds, his target. It's already too far away now. We're looking at 1 hour, 4 minutes at the moment for Bobby Julich. There it is on your screen. But let's not forget, this man is going to take second in this time trial. He has ridden so well in the time trials. And now he's going to finish off with a runner-up in the time trial. Ironically, it's going to cost him his runner-up position in the Tour de France. He will go one notch down behind Jan Ullrich. He will have to be content with third, and that is simply superb as well. Bobby Julich, the pain will stay with him for the next few meters as he comes to the line. Then he can look back and say, hey, I just finished third in the Tour de France, because tomorrow, that's exactly what will happen. 1 hour, 4 minutes, 46 and counting, as Bobby Julich keeps thinking, will this finishing line never come? Well, now he can see it as he starts to line up. Now he hits it, and second place finish for Bobby Julich, and that is brilliant.
Julich securing his third place on the podium. One more man out on the course, the yellow jersey, Marco Pantani.
Downhill for a minute, he'll search for that big gear. He rides a 55.11 today. Marco Pantani takes a strong man with big legs to pedal a gear like that, and here we have a little man with thin legs. A left flick again as we continue the descent, and then of course what goes down must go up, and so then Pantani will have to climb up to the finishing line, and I would think that bit at least he'll like. He took that corner gingerly. I don't blame him. It's rather slippery on those beige coloured cobblestones. As now Pantani goes down the long straight. He's looking for the 1 kilometre to go kite, and then that'll be mean he's home and dry. His deficit at 32 kilometres, 1 minute and 29 seconds on Jan Ullrich. At 45 kilometres, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So it'll be around about 3 minutes, the deficit at the finishing line. Now remember, Baranowski is still in third place, 3 minutes and 11 seconds back. So Pantani is chasing that sort of finish. In the distance there, the 1 kilometre to go sign for Marco Pantani. Jan Ullrich getting ready to take the flowers as stage winner of the Tour de France today. Pantani getting ready to take the flowers as soon as he crosses the line as the leader of the Tour de France, with 1 day to go. Pantani, 800 metres and counting down, 750 metres. Marco Pantani now turning into the finish. He will have kept his lead in the Tour de France, and that's all he set out to do. Crowd beginning now to cheer him in, As he will make just another small turn before the finishing line. Takes it rightly, gingerly again over the white lines of the road there. Watch out for this sharp turn as well. He can see himself on the television right now. And so Marco Pantani turns up towards the finish, the last man in the Tour de France today to finish. He'll be the first man in Paris tomorrow. He's not going to win the stage, but he's not going to lose all of his time either. It has been a great show of defiance by Pantani. There's the time to beat. It's already dropped away by almost 3 minutes, as Jan Ullrich will win the stage, but Marco Pantani will do enough now to keep the lead, and that will mean victory tomorrow in the Tour de France for him. He's still grimacing, though, as he sprints up this little climb towards the finish. He's still trying to finish in 3rd place on the stage, which will put him behind Jan Ullrich and Bobby Julich. Baranowski is 3rd at the moment. His time, 3 minutes 11 seconds behind Ullrich. Now, as we watch Pantani, watch the time. He's lying 3rd at the moment as the Pirate comes up towards the line, showing the world he can ride a time trial when it's important enough to do so. And when you've got the Maillot Jaune of the Tour de France on your shoulders, I guess that makes it important enough. Pantani now still finding the strength to sprint. He makes it in 3rd place as well. 1 hour 6:27. The top 3 in the Tour de France in Paris tomorrow. The top 3 finishers in the time trial today. And that makes them the best bike riders in the race.
And for Jan Ullrich, if not for one day in the Alps, he may be wearing the yellow jersey. On this day, though, by far the best. The finest time trialist in the world. Jan Ullrich with the win, a minute 1 ahead of Bobby Julich. Marco Pantani finishes 2 minutes and 35 seconds back. And the U.S. Postal Team rider, Darius Baranowski, finishes 4th. Tyler Hamilton in 15th today in stage 20. Well, he will be the first U.S. rider since Greg LeMond to stand on the podium at the end of the Tour de France. Bobby Julich, his dad, looking for a hug at this point. And look at the smile on Julich's face. 17th in his first Tour de France last year to the podium. For Marco Pantani, a great effort today. He keeps the yellow jersey. Jan Ullrich moves from 3rd to 2nd place, and Bobby Julich in 3rd. Another American in the top 20, Kevin Livingston, in 17th place. Well, after all the lonely training rides on the roads of Colorado, tears of joy now for Julich.
There was no laying back. I mean, I had no idea what the time splits were. I told my director I didn't want to hear anything. I just wanted to do the best I possibly could. And I mean, every time I felt like, gosh, you know, I got to slow down, I'm going too hard, I'd see my name on the road or the American flag, and I said, there's just no way I can stop. There's too many people I owe this to, and too many people I want to make proud. And I mean, I know I didn't win, but I hope I can motivate a lot of people the way Greg LeMond and Alexei Greywall motivated me back when I was a 13-year-old kid watching the Tour de France for the first time on TV. And it's a great honor, and I'm really going to enjoy the next few days, especially that moment on the podium with the 2 biggest champions of the last couple years. I mean, it's quite an honor.
What a feeling it must be for Bobby Julich and for this man, Marco Pantani, who will become the first Italian champion of the Tour de France in 33 years. We have traveled 2,314 miles, 92 miles left tomorrow, the day that all the riders have been waiting for, the finish on the Champs-Élysées in Paris. Join us tomorrow for Stage 21 at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC and on ESPN early Monday morning at 12:30 a.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday on ESPN2. For Phil Liggett, Paul Sherwen, Lance Armstrong, and John Eustice, I'm Terry Gannon. So long from the 85th Tour de France. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. And the riders will pass Disneyland Paris, where the last individual time trial was a year ago. Today, the real racing begins when they finish on the Champs-Élysées. And a good look at Eric Zabel of Team Telecom. He's been in that green jersey for some 16 days now. He actually won it the past 2 years, so he's been in it for about 60 days overall. And we look at the green jersey update. Eric Zabel, 305 points. He'll pick up $25,000 with the win. Stuart O'Grady in second place. He had the yellow jersey for 3 days. And Tom Steels has won 3 stages to this point in this year's Tour de France. Out on the road, the riders again having to deal with the wet conditions like they did yesterday. And it's difficult enough, Lance, to win a stage. You know about that. How tough is it then to deal with these conditions, too?
Well, to win a stage here is in good or bad conditions is always hard. The thing to keep in mind is that it's the Tour de France, and there's no such thing as letting some riders get up the road and giving them a stage victory. If one rider wins one stage, he can call it a year and call it a success. So come rain or shine, everybody wants to win. And again, to win that one day, and they can basically quit for the year.
How many things have to come together with you and your teammates on a day like this?
Well, of course, you have to, just like anything, you have to have luck. You have to be in the right move. You have to make the right decisions. And bottom line is you got to have good legs.
Well, it's a nice, comfortable ride until the riders get to Paris. Then the teams all get together, and there's no bigger win than the one on the Champs-Élysées.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 1998 Tour de France is brought to you by Degree, the body heat activated antiperspirants and deodorant. And by Mercury. Go ahead, imagine yourself in a Mercury.
This is Imagine TV.
We're looking for a man in a new Mercury Cougar. Exactly like this one. He's a dangerous double agent and a master of disguise.
Haven't seen him.
Hot tires fueling out the door.
Feel the heat radiating out of your skin.
It's nasty hot.
We asked some of the hottest guys in the pits to switch antiperspirants.
Ultra Guide Degree, body heat activated.
Wow, I've never seen this before.
When your body heat rises, Degree Ultra Dry's powerful new form releases extra protection when you need it most.
This is one of the few products that can keep up with me.
It kept me dry, ultra dry.
Worked better than my old stick.
New Degree Ultra Dry. Now more than ever, your body heat turns it on.
The proof is in the pits.
Accepted. The college football game you want to see isn't on where you live, and there's nothing you can do about it. Or is there? Imagine a place where the games you want to see are on every Saturday. A place where you can see up to 100 college matchups this season. Just order ESPN Game Plan, ESPN's pay-per-view college football package, and we'll bring you more of the best games from top schools and conferences. And all in your own backyard. ESPN Game Plan. There's no place like home. To order, call DirecTV, Prime Star, or your cable company.
Welcome back on the final day. The riders heading towards Paris. Well, there's no getting around the fact that the overriding story of this tour has been the doping controversy. Adrian Karsten takes a look at the biggest scandal in tour history.
The day before the start of the 98 Tour, reports surfaced that Festina team masseur Willy Vogt had been stopped by police at the French border. Authorities seized 400 containers of what they believe to be illegal substances. Bruno Roussel, the leader of Team Festina, initially denies any knowledge of the drugs. On Bastille Day, as Pascal Hervé was capturing the polka dot jersey, Vogt admits to the importation and distribution of performance-enhancing drugs, stating he did so under the direction of team officials. Understandably, the athletes find it hard to focus.
A bit, just let the justice do his bit, We got really nothing to do with it. I had a clear conscience there. Just letting the tour roll along,
On July 17th, Roussel and Reichert are placed under arrest. Roussel admits to police that the team did conduct a doping program under strict medical supervision. Tour director Jean-Marie Leblanc announces the exclusion of Festina from the tour. The next morning, Richard Virenque announces that the team will continue to ride as a statement of protest, but After meeting with LeBlanc, the Festina riders agreed to accept the decision of tour officials and stay away from the start line. Virenque leaves in tears. Despite the admission of drug use by some athletes, who, by the way, were under very severe interrogation at the time they made this admission, there is no way to punish the athletes under UCI rules because they didn't fail any drug tests. Now, the UCI is the International Cycling Union. They are the governing body of this sport. In addition, under French law, only the suppliers of drugs, not the athletes themselves, can face punishment or fines. So the athletes decided to protest, primarily because they hadn't been convicted of anything, they hadn't failed any dope tests, yet they were still being treated like criminals in the sport's most visible event. The first protest began at the start of stage 12. As the riders were leaving town, they came to a stop at the official race start line. Laurent Jalabert, the French national champion, became the spokesman for the riders and tried to get reassurances from LeBlanc that the riders would stop being harassed by French authorities. Stage 12 was completed with Tom Steels taking his second of 3 stage victories. But French police did not halt their investigation and on July 28th detained members of the Dutch TVM team for 3 hours of questioning. The next morning, 20 miles into stage 17, the riders stopped again. This time, Bjarne Riis went to LeBlanc demanding the end of the treatment that the riders were getting from the police. Removing their numbers, in effect disqualifying themselves, the riders rode in protest. After heated discussions and hours behind schedule, the stage was finally finished in a final show of solidarity. The peloton allowed the remaining TVM riders to cross the finish line in front. By the end of stage 17, almost half of the 189 riders that started the tour had either abandoned the race or left the tour as a sign of protest.
Well, thankfully, over the last 4 days, the riders have raced without major incident. For a while, it looked like we'd never get to the Champs-Élysées. But, Lance, how much do you think the issue and the controversy will take away from what Marco Pantani and the rest of the riders have accomplished?
Well, Terry, I certainly hope it doesn't take away from the great victory of Marco Pantani. Clearly, he's the strongest climber in the world. Nobody can stay with him. He was third in the time trial yesterday, and that's just 2.5 minutes behind Jan Ullrich. The sport may have a bit of a problem. I think it's a little bit exaggerated. We need to diagnose the problem, fix it internally, and move on. It's been an unfortunate situation, and I just hope that that the sport can move on and survive.
Well, Jan Ullrich, for one, the defending champion from last year, said he wants to donate all his prize money to stricter doping policies. We'll be back.
This antique table dates back to the late 1800s. Now, 100 years later, it's called an heirloom. Today at Oak Express, you'll also find solid oak dining tables built to last a lifetime and beyond. The solid oak Scottsdale is just $215. The solid oak Supreme table is $421, or the solid oak Stafford is $599. And ask about our free financing programs. Oak, the heirloom wood, at Oak Express, South Parker Road at Quincy and West 6th Avenue.
It doesn't get any better than live music at Red Rocks Amphitheater. Don't miss this year's biggest shows as your favorite stars come out to play under the Rocky Mountain skies. The best sounds on the planet are right here. This Red Rocks concert calendar brought to you by TCI and VH1. For more information about Red Rocks concerts, call 303-640-7300.
ESPN Sunday Night Football. Full season coverage begins September 6.
Hello, I'm Netboy, live from ESPN Sports Zone via XPG 46 Digital CompuCam. There's still time to pick your fantasy team for the Fantasy Football League if you hurry. Hey, Myers, that's my camera jack. You can't plug your electric razor in that? Come on!
Welcome back, everyone, to our coverage of Stage 21. After 2,400 miles and 3 weeks of riding, 96 cyclists are making their way to the Champs-Élysées in Paris, riding through French countryside for the final time. A good look at Jan Ullrich on the right, number 1. He was last year's champion, and that was supposed to be the beginning of a long reign at the top of the Tour de France for Ullrich. He's not wearing yellow right now, but of course expectations are higher for Ullrich than anyone in the peloton. When Jan Ullrich stood on the podium last year as the champion of the Tour de France, the cycling world had already crowned him as the new boy king of the future. When he arrived at the start of this year's tour, he was shrouded in uncertainty. Could he rebound from a monumental off-season weight gain? And who was the leader of Team Telecom, Ullrich or Bjarne Riis, who had captured the '96 championship?
He's a good friend and a good teammate, and Bjarne Riis is the leader of our team. I am concentrating on doing my job for the team to work for him. That's what I'll do. Last year, he helped me win the Tour, and I won't forget that.
Those well-laid plans all changed in stage 7. While Riis was laboring, Ullrich was busy putting all questions to rest. With his win in the first individual time trial, the 24-year-old took control of his team, the race, and the yellow jersey. But the maillot jaune may as well have been a bullseye. Team Telecom would pay a heavy price for having to defend it on a daily basis. Under constant attack, his teammates exhausted, Ullrich was left to fend for himself during stage 15 in the Alps. And after a flat tire made the miserable conditions worse, it looked like the beginning of the end.
The maillot jaune, I think, has hit the wall.
He's cracked, Phil. He's absolutely and utterly cracked.
On the day, Ullrich lost 8 minutes and 57 seconds to the new leader, Marco Pantani, and dropped to 4th place overall. But for those who thought he would fade away quietly, the young German came back to prove a point the very next day.
Jan Ullrich is going to try and get his own back. That's amazing.
He's recovered overnight. He wants to prove that he's a real champion, and he's going to try and put the yellow jersey into difficulty.
The defending champion battled the Pirate all the way to the end of stage 16, and with a powerful late kick, crossed the finish line first. A remarkable recovery for a man who just a day earlier seemed ready to drop. He was now in the unexpected role of chasing the leader, but Jan Ullrich was not going to go away easily. And once again yesterday, Jan Ullrich proved that he's the best time trialist in the world, if not the best rider in the world. Lance, you've ridden against Miguel Indurain. You've ridden against Ullrich. How good is the 24-year-old German?
Well, the answer is the 24-year-old German is very good. You only have to look as far as looking at his Tour de France record. He has 2 seconds and a victory in 3 years, and he's only 24 years old. He'll never be able to come to the Tour without being considered the favorite. He is the biggest engine in the sport.
If not for one bad day in the Alps, when his teammates all fell behind, he was all alone. Jan Ullrich could be wearing the yellow jersey that's on the back right now of Marco Pantani as they race towards Paris. There's Ullrich right next to him. This is the scene you're only going to see on the last day in the ride into Paris. Wonder what language they're speaking in.
There is a business class seat that tilts as a whole, raising your knees, distributing your weight evenly, and relaxing every part of your body, which makes it oh so easy to drift off. The Club World Cradle Seat, only on British Airways, the world's favorite airline.
Want to color your gray beard or mustache and get a natural look? It's easy with Just for Men Gel.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel. No one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
It's not regular hair coloring, it's specially made to penetrate that coarse, hard-to-color gray. Simply brush in and in 5 minutes, rinse. Now gray is gone, matched up to the rest of your hair.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
This is Imagine TV.
What's this?
Ivan the Destroyer.
No, I said go get the villager, not pillager.
There's no one to fight here. Maybe he just wanted to drive his Mercury Villager.
I can't believe you said he could come with us.
You tell him.
Until next time, imagine yourself in a Mercury.
This is for Mr. Blanchard, who told me to make something of myself. For Miss Miller, who never let me settle for a C. For my parents, who believe in my dreams. For myself, for my future.
Be all that you can be.
You know, some people think the best thing about ESPN magazine is the writing. Other people say it's the great photography. And some people think it's the design. But if you ask me, the best thing about ESPN magazine is clearly the large format. Can I drink this? Or is this just a prop?
Tyler Hamilton, Frankie Andreu, Marty Jemison, and George Hincapie, four of the men at least in part responsible for the renewed interest and attention surrounding American cyclists. It became apparent early on that U.S. Postal would be a major player in this year's Tour de France.
The American cycling team, sponsored by the U.S. Postal Service, returned to the Tour with more international talent than they rode with in '97. Tour veteran Lance Armstrong, still coming back from cancer, was left off this Tour's roster, so team leadership landed on America's most experienced Tour professional, Frankie Andreu. With America's new national champion, George Hincapie, at his side, hopes were high when we started in Dublin.
I'm excited. I mean, I feel good. I want to go for a stage win. That's my biggest goal, go for a stage win.
From day one, Americans became the talk of this Tour. Hincapie came within 2 seconds of the yellow jersey, closer than any American since Greg LeMond. The Tour's first real test for the real contenders, the individual time trial. And from out of nowhere and into the lead, nearly unknown Tyler Hamilton. On this day, only the defending Tour champion was faster.
I've definitely taken a step up over the last couple of months. I feel strong, and I just kept my ride today. I just kept it steady the whole way, and it worked out.
In the Pyrenees, the Tour hit 100 degrees, and it appeared that the Americans reached their plateau. But they recovered to attack the Tour's second weekend. 3 straight days at the front of the race. First, Hincapie. Then, 33-year-old Marty Jemison. And then, Peter Meinert-Nielsen.
I know there were better sprinters, but I gave it everything. And I thought I played pretty good tactics today. Any mistake I made in the past today, I didn't think I made up for it.
Russian Vyacheslav Ekimov, Frenchman Jean-Cyril Robin, and Dariusz Baranowski from Poland all at one point made the Tour's overall top 20. A melting pot of pro talent, the Postal Service has revitalized American cycling.
George Hincapie, who made all the noise in week 1, so close to the yellow jersey. Right now having some fun with Stuart O'Grady, who wore yellow for 3 days. Those two could be a big part of the end of stage 21. Well, this is what the riders have been waiting for 3 weeks. They are now entering the roads of Paris. Nice, comfortable ride in from Melun, the start 92 miles away. And now the racing has begun in earnest. Pascal Chantour of Team Casino making the first attack of the day. And Lance, this is an early break. Can he sustain something like this? I know he just wants to be the first to make it to the Champs-Élysées.
Chantour is going to have a hard time. This is not an easy stage, and he would like to have a couple of guys with him. I think the other thing that plays a factor is that he wants to be out there on the Champs-Élysées with most of the country watching it.
Now here's the chase group. George Hincapie a part of it. On the left side of your screen, they're trying to reel in Chantour.
Well, the Postal Service has said that they want to win a stage in this year's Tour de France. I talked to Frankie this morning. They're very motivated. They realize they can do it today. They've all been up there in this stage, and they want to make it happen.
Frankie Andreu has worked hard to get the U.S. Postal a stage win, and this is the yellow jersey. At the back of the pack, Marco Pantani has just gotten a flat tire. Incredible bad luck for Pantani. He started the day 3 minutes and 21 seconds ahead of Jan Ullrich, and now he's struggling to get back. Now, there are 10 laps around the Champs-Élysées, and they're only on the 3rd lap, so he has time to make it up. But as incredible as it seems, this race may not be over yet.
This is Imagine TV.
That's the last stitch.
Hey, has anyone seen the keys to my Mercury?
There's no one to fight here. Maybe he just wanted to drive his Mercury Villager.
Till next time, imagine yourself in a Mercury.
Four tires fueling out the door.
Feel the heat radiating out of your skin.
It's nasty hot.
We asked some of the hottest guys in the pits to switch antiperspirants.
Ultra dry degree, body heat activated.
Wow, I've never seen this before.
When your body heat rises, Degree Ultra Dry's powerful new form releases extra protection when you need it most.
This is one of the few products that can keep up with me.
It kept me dry, ultra dry.
Worked better than my old stick.
New Degree Ultra Dry. Now more than ever, your body heat turns it on.
The proof is in the pits.
This is Imagine TV.
We are looking for a man in a new Mercury Cougar. Exactly like this one. He's a dangerous double agent and a master of disguise.
Haven't seen him.
Way to do it is take the body out and the head's gonna fall. You gotta rip. You gotta dig.
Kenny Keene battles Dominic Carter. Sunday at 8:30 on ESPN2.
Back in stage 21, the riders on the Champs-Élysées right now, and the Mercatoni Uno team helping Marco Pantani come back up to the main pack of riders. This is what you have teammates for. Earlier today, they were drinking champagne, but things are a little more serious now.
Yeah, they are. This could potentially be a very serious situation. The roads are slick. Marco got a flat. The whole team dropped back. I will say one thing that's interesting. Mercatoni Uno should really thank Telecom in this Tour de France, because Telecom did probably 75% of the work, and then Pantani got the jersey. He was super in the Alps. And they really didn't have to do very much. I think he owes them a big thank you.
And now he owes his teammates a big thank you, because they are catching up with the other riders. So Mercatoni Uno bringing Marco Pantani, who never panicked throughout this entire situation when he got the flat tire. Now he's back with the main pack of riders continuing on the Champs-Élysées. From pink in the Giro d'Italia to yellow in the Tour de France, it has been a season of winning colors for the Pirate. Made all the more meaningful because of his relationship with one of Italy's legendary team directors. Luciano Pezzi was one of cycling's great innovators. After a distinguished career as a rider, including a Tour de France stage win in 1955, he helped develop the team philosophies that define the sport today. It was Pezzi who guided the last Italian to win the Tour in 1965, Felice Gimondi.
Above all, he was for us a sort of a second father. He guided us as athletes and helped us grow into men. He was a person who was always polite and civil with us, even when we won races and also when we lost them.
31 years after Gimondi's victory, another Italian star desperately needed support. A terrifying crash had left Marco Pantani with a smashed left shin and fibula, his career in serious jeopardy. Even among those who thought he could return, there were few who believed he could scale the same heights. Pezzi never doubted it. With his countless calls to the Pirate and to anyone else who had influence, he helped pave the way for a remarkable comeback as Pantani rode to an emotional victory in this year's Tour of Italy.
Pezzi was a very determined man. He was determined because he believed in Marco when Marco was going through one of the most difficult periods of his life, as a man and as a racer. Marco was still on crutches when Pezzi offered him a 3-year contract to give him time to return to a high enough level to win a great stage race.
Following Marco's win in the Giro d'Italia, and just 2 weeks prior to the start of the Tour de France, Pezzi passed away. Pantani almost sat out this year's tour. Ironically, he felt the route didn't include enough high climbs to be fair to the mountain men like him. It was the enduring influence of Pezzi, the encouraging voice that helped bring him back from the brink, which convinced him to ride. With that voice in mind, Pantani attacked in the Pyrenees. On the final climb of stage 10, he left the main field behind on his way to a second-place finish. The following day, the message was even more emphatic. The overall contenders were going to have to deal with the pirate.
Pantani swings up towards the finish after 5¼ hours. They've raced over 11 hours in the Pyrenees in the last 2 days, and Marco Pantani has been the undoubted star.
The explosion up to Plateau de Bay brought Marco his 5th career stage win and a place among the overall leaders. As impressive as that was, it was merely a prelude. During stage 15 in the Alps, a day that will go down as one of the epic stages in Tour de France history, Pantani painted an image that will last for ages. In one day, Pantani experienced his 6th Tour stage win, his first yellow jersey, and perhaps his defining moment. From this point on, the race would be in his hands. In a Tour de France he didn't even want to enter, Marco Pantani had risen to the top of the cycling world and paid tribute to the man who provided the inspiration. Well, no one would question that Marco Pantani is the real king of the mountains, but the man wearing the polka dot jersey, Christophe Raniero, like Pantani, just had a flat, and now he is working hard to try to catch up with that main group of riders. Gives us a moment to check our Isuzu Go Farther Mountain Jersey update. It is Raniero in the polka dot jersey, and he will keep that and make $25,000. Right ahead of Marco Pantani in the standings, who doesn't really care about the intermediate climbs. That's why he doesn't wear the polka dots. Pantani will pick up $15,000, which is not much compared to the $367,000 he'll pick up as the winner. The gorgeous scenes above Paris, the riders coming through. If you got a seat on the Ferris wheel today, you have a front row seat.
The Isuzu Amigo. Great for roads, great for no road. Great for fun, not so great for bicycle races. Hence, the Isuzu 21 Bike Salute to the Tour de France sweepstakes, where we're giving away 21 Lightspeed Ultimate Titanium road bikes now through August 3rd. Stop by your Isuzu dealer now and register to win. And while you're there, check out our new Amigo lease, $199 a month for 48 months, with $894 due at lease signing. Whoa, this is no place for a road bike.
This morning, strange things are happening all over the world. Shops are about to open empty. Parts suppliers are partless, and assembly workers have nothing to assemble. Is this any way to run a business? With FedEx it is. Every morning the world gets just what it wants, just when it needs it, without expensive warehousing. Gone today, here again tomorrow. Now that's the way the world works.
4 tires fueling out the door.
Feel the heat radiating out of your skin.
It's nasty hot.
We asked some of the hottest guys in the pits to switch antiperspirants.
Ultra-dry degree, body heat activated.
Wow, I've never seen this before.
When your body heat rises, Degree Ultra Dry's powerful new form releases extra protection when you need it most.
This is one of the few products that can keep up with me.
It kept me dry, ultra dry.
Worked better than my old stick.
New Degree Ultra Dry. Now more than ever, your body heat turns it on.
The proof is in the pits.
Hi, Chuck. How's business?
Okay.
Hey, what's on your screen?
QuickBooks accounting software from the makers of Quicken.
Yeah, I really don't have time to learn new software.
If you can write a check, you can use QuickBooks. Answer a few questions and it tailors itself to your business. Create invoices like these. It has accounts payable, accounts receivable, payroll and inventory, and over 60 customizable reports that put you in control.
I'm going to try it.
Nothing to lose.
Call 1-800-652-0101.
I'm telling you, Savaration's the man.
No way.
Frederic,
Who's a better pure goal scorer, Savarese or Diaz-Arce?
Be real, Savarese.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 1998 Tour de France is brought to you by Isuzu, saluting the athletes of the Tour de France who continually push themselves to go farther. Isuzu, go farther. And by Festina watches, the official timer of the Tour de France. European-styled Festina watches are new to America.
You want to keep up with the best athletes in the world? You better not blink. Speed is of the essence. An American Bobby Julich has joined the short list of the best cyclists in the world in a hurry. In just his second Tour de France, he's gotten there faster than even he thought possible. It was 1990 when Greg LeMond won the last of his 3 yellow jerseys. No American has stood on the Tour de France podium since. After a 17th place finish last year in his first Tour, when Bobby Julich entered this season's race, he didn't expect to be the first.
I'd like to do, of course, better than last year, but I mean, the goal I wrote down for myself during the winter was top 10, and we'll see how that pans out.
Things went as planned on day 1, with Julich enjoying a solid effort in the prologue. Then in the first individual time trial, Bobby made his move, jumping into the top 3 overall. It capped off a week of staying in contention and out of trouble.
Phase 1 is complete. You know, I stayed out of had a good prologue, stayed out of trouble in the crashes, and had a good time trial. And you know, hey, I'm happy. Mission accomplished.
Phase 2 would be spent hounding the yellow jersey. Wherever Jan Ullrich went, Bobby was right with him. Unfortunately, Marco Pantani had a different plan. He left the Maillot Jaune and its shadow behind during stage 15 in the Alps. Julich nearly crashed trying to keep pace with the Pirate. It took every ounce of inspiration to make it up the final climb in horrible conditions, but he pressed on with a gutsy effort that moved him into second place overall.
It was epic today. And to tell you the truth, I mean, I just didn't have it. But, I mean, incredible, Pantani. I knew he was very, very dangerous. I didn't know he could do what he did today. I mean, he just made us all look silly. But, I mean, the race isn't over yet.
And in yesterday's individual time trial, Julich again rode with purpose. He was beaten only by Jan Ullrich. The thought of all of those who had helped him reach this point in his life inspired him to hold on to the final spot on the podium.
Every time I felt like, gosh, you know, I got to slow down, I'm going too hard, I'd see my name on the road or the American flag, and I said, there's just no way I can stop. There's too many people I owe this to, and too many people I want to make proud. And I mean, I know I didn't win, but I hope I can motivate a lot of people the way Greg LeMond and Alexei Greywall motivated me back when I was a 13-year-old kid watching the Tour de France for the first time on TV. And it's a great honor, and I'm really going to enjoy the next few days, especially that moment on the podium. I knew that if there was a possibility of me being on the podium, I wanted to share it with the most special people, the people that have been there unconditionally.
Celebrated with his fiancée and his father in only his second Tour de France, Julich is one of the top 3 riders in the greatest race in the world. And right now he is just a few laps on the Champs-Élysées from reaching that dream and standing on the final podium. Well, Bobby has given a lot of credit to his teammates, and rightly so, as we check the young riders' jersey standings right now. Another American and teammate, Kevin Livingston, in 4th place. Christoph Raniero, the king of the mountains, in 2nd place. Surprise, surprise, Jan Ullrich on top. He'll pick up better than $16,000 for that place. And by the way, you have to be born no later than 1973 to be considered in the young riders category. Back on the course, an attack is taking place involving Vyacheslav Ekimov. Let's join Phil Liggett and Paul Sherwen.
Well, it's only 11 seconds, but you have to start a breakaway somewhere at the moment. Ekimov is a great man when he can escape. He's got so much power in those legs, and he can hold a speed of 30, 35 miles an hour with not too much problem.
Amazing to see one of the US Postal Riders off the front of the main field, because in fact George Hincap has just been involved with a puncture at the back, and he's just got himself back into the main field. But that's something Vyacheslav Ekimov wouldn't have known anything about.
Well, that's the look of the draw. So the peloton chased one US Postal while the other one chases the peloton, but they're almost on if they're not already into the backfield now, in the back of the field rather.
So Ekimov up front, helping to put his team in a good position for the final sprint to the finish line of the 85th Tour de France.
It can really kill an afternoon, assembling that entertainment unit you thought you were saving money on. Why waste your valuable time? Come to Oak Express, where all of our entertainment pieces come fully assembled, and you'll really buy for less. From TV carts at just $79 to multi-piece media centers for $2,500, Oak Express offers over 40 styles of real oak and real oak veneer. Forget the hassle. Shop Oak Express, I-225 in Mississippi, south of Sam's and West 6th Avenue.
Would you love a new sunroom? Then escape to your own private world with the service side of Sears Sunrooms. For a limited time, save up to 20% off on a sunroom, patio cover, screened room, or carport, and make no payments until September. Call this number right now and start enjoying the outdoors from inside today. Payments start as low as $24 a month. You've waited long enough. Save up to 20% and make no payments until September. Call Sears now.
This weekend, AMA Motocross, Saturday at 1 p.m. The race is on. RPM today, Sunday at 12 p.m. If it moves fast, looks cool, and wins races, it's on ESPN 2. NIRA Texas Import Showdown, Sunday at 4 p.m. All kinds of racing, all weekend long. The race is on ESPN 2.
The art of tennis, as played by the masters. Tennis on ESPN.
The Place de la Concorde with the Eiffel Tower in the background. 96 riders finishing today on the Champs-Élysées in Paris. Back on the course, just about 2 laps to go to the finish line. Stefan Hulot out front, along with Vyacheslav Ekimov of the U.S. Postal Service team. They're making a bid to win stage 21. Taking a look back to see what the gap is like right now.
Well, a nice tight field. There's the man. He's taken off his bandana now. He can't do much about his yellow beard. He's going to have to live with that for a few days now until it grows out, but he won't care. He's about to win the Tour de France. Marco Pantani. The rain has stopped, the sun is back with us, and that is a great sign now for the end of this race this year. Pantani's had his moments of shock, especially earlier on when he punctured on the 3rd circuit and then really had to chase hard. His whole team waited for him. Finally, he got back into the field, and then he took off his yellow jersey cover, and the rain stopped, and he's enjoyed life ever since, I think. These two are proving quite irresistible. The bunch can't get up to them. They're going to hear the bell for the last lap very shortly. And then it'll be a desperate chase to haul them back in.
Incredible performance by these two riders, because it's come down now to just 8 seconds. They really are having a hard time pulling these two riders back into the fold. But Team Telecom and Mapei are experienced teams, and what they're trying to do is pull them back in at the very last moment, and then they'll keep the pace high and keep the whole field together and try and make sure that there are no last-minute attacks by lone riders, and then try and bring everybody together into the final corner with just 350 meters to go before the finish line.
So Hulot and Ekimov working hard to stay out in front. They'll make the turn and then make their way down into the tunnel. As they do, let's check today's race summary, brought to you by Degree Antiperspirant and Deodorant. 96 riders made the ceremonial ride into Paris. Near the start of the Champs-Élysées, Pascal Chanter broke away alone. The real action, though, was at the back of the group. The yellow jersey, Marco Pantani, had a flat tire. His teammates eventually brought him back to the field. The field caught Chanter, and now Ekimov and Hulot out ahead, but trying to hold off that Telecom train, running them down for the sprint finish.
And still Ekimov is going like a train here. A flick of his right elbow to bring Erlo through. He looks over his shoulder. He thinks, my goodness me, they're still not dropping any further behind. In fact, right now, they are being brought up to them by the pink jerseys of the Telecom team. They've had a wonderful Tour de France, even though they've seen their leader collapse on one day only. in the Alps. It's cost them individual victory, but they're still bringing home Eric Zabel as winner of the green jersey competition, and they hope now they've done enough to get him over the line first on the last stage. But they're going to have to watch out, because the best team in this race this year is Cofidis, and they're on the attack.
A good move there. That's the time to make the move. Once a breakaway has been caught like that, to try and counter. This is Nicolas Jalabert, the brother of Laurent Jalabert. But you see there's no panic in the team there of Team Mapei and Team Telecom. They're letting him go off the front, and they're keeping their pace high because they feel that they can still nail him back before the finish. They want to keep the organisation that they've had over the last 3 laps, and they will not panic. And look at that. Jalabert's opened up about 20 metres gap, and he does not have the power to stay clear of the main field.
Well, normally this would not be called a climb in the Tour de France, but it is at these speeds, especially when you've climbed it 9 times already and you brake hard for the top. Now you're going to go down the other side at 70 to 75 kilometres an hour on this last lap. Now Nicolas Jalabert starts to take them away, but the team have got him under control. They've thrown a lasso around him. There goes Marco Pantani. He's now 4 kilometres away from being the first Italian winner of the Tour since 1965.
So the yellow jersey secure with Marco Pantani now, and in a Tour full of spectacular sprints, they're getting ready for another one.
The Isuzu Amigo. Great for roads, great for no road. Great for fun, not so great for bicycle races. Hence, the Isuzu 21 Bike Salute to the Tour de France sweepstakes, where we're giving away 21 Lightspeed Ultimate Titanium road bikes now through August 3rd. Stop by your Isuzu dealer now and register to win. And while you're there, check out our new Amigo lease, $199 a month for 48 months, with $894 due at lease signing. Whoa, this is no place for a road bike.
I thought you were starting to go gray.
I was, but I never did.
So what happened, the miracle?
You can't tell?
Tell what?
I use Just for Men.
That's hair color?
Even your barber can't tell you use the hair coloring called Just for Men. Simply shampoo in, then rinse. In only 5 minutes, this unique Just for Men formula blends away the gray, actually matches your gray to your real color.
I never would have guessed.
Just for Men. So natural, even your barber can't tell.
There is a business class seat that tilts as a whole, raising your knees, distributing your weight evenly, and relaxing every part of your body, which makes it oh so easy to drift off. The Club World Cradle Seat, only on British Airways, the world's favorite airline.
Back nearing the end of stage 21, the Mapei riders leading the way as they come down to the final sprint finish of 1998.
This is going to be a cracking sprint now.
Big lineup for Gannon there. Poli was up there. Right behind him was Magnus Backstedt. Then it was Stuart O'Grady. But on O'Grady's wheel was the national champion of the US, George Hincapie. He knows a good wheel to follow when it comes to a final sprint here. There was the move by Wilfred Peters. He's done his job. He's kept it high. He's turned it over now to Andrea Taffy. But the big line of the Gannon riders, as we go under 1 kilometre to go, they're ready to set it up for O'Grady.
A lot of riders dropping back now as the pace has got a little bit too hot. There's a bit of deja vu here. Hincapie O'Grady, like the first week of the Tour when they were fighting out for the first prize, the yellow jersey. But now it is coming up to the big sprint, and the Telecom have got the wheel. A switch out of it there. Taffy is gone now as we race across. Magnus Backstedt on the far right is trying to get in. And where's Stuart O'Grady? Because Tom Steels is also tucked in now. There's O'Grady goes through right on the wheel of Magnus Backstedt. This could be a surprise, but Tom Steels has got the perfect lead out for the corner now. They're going to get squashed out of it as they turn sharp right now. It is going to be a race for the line now, and can Tom Steels No, it looks as though Stuart O'Grady might well finish this one off now. And it's Baxter, in fact. It's Baxter still on the front here now as Steels tries to move to the right. He's got Hincapie, O'Grady on his wheel. Steels on the far right. It looks as though Zabel is out of this one now as Tom Steels makes it win number 4 in the Tour de France for the champion of Belgium. I made George Hincapie over the line there in, I think, 4th or 3rd, and O'Grady was 3rd or 4th. So O'Grady will get 2nd place in the green jersey competition. Watch this now. This has been a magical tour for the champion of Belgium as he moves in for his 3rd stage win of this year's Tour de France. Disqualified last year when he was so frustrated he threw his bottle at a rider in a sprint finish. And O'Grady gets 3rd, Hincapie gets 4th. Great result for them all.
In fact, that is Steele's 4th stage win in this year's Tour de France, in the finish that all the riders want to win. They call it the most beautiful finish in the world. We'll be back with final thoughts.
Four tires fueling out the door.
Feel the heat radiating out of your skin.
It's nasty hot.
We asked some of the hottest guys in the pits to switch antiperspirants.
Ultra Guide Degree, body heat activated.
Wow, I've never seen this before.
When your body heat rises, Degree Ultra Dry's powerful new form releases extra protection when you need it most.
This is one of the few products that can keep up with me.
It kept me dry, ultra dry.
Worked better than my old stick.
New Degree Ultra Dry. Now more than ever, your body heat turns it on.
The proof is in the pits.
This is Imagine TV.
This Mercury Sable sure is roomy.
Yeah, but why don't we ever go anywhere?
'Cause we don't have any feet.
No feet.
I love you even more than I did before I had amnesia. I think.
Even more than your Mercury.
I have a Mercury. I'd forgotten. Where am I going?
Till next time, imagine yourself in a Mercury.
If you love hunting, fishing, the great outdoors, you'll love Field & Stream, America's premier outdoor magazine. Each issue is chock full of great photos and exciting stories on hunting, fishing. It's all in Field & Stream, the great magazine of the great outdoors. One full year, regularly $35.88, is now just $14.95, a savings of more than 60% off the newsstand price. Subscribe now, and you'll get this handy multi-purpose sportsman's knife free with your paid subscription. Designed for outdoorsmen, it's 14 tools in one. It's the perfect sportsman's knife, and it's yours free. But that's not all. Each issue contains up-to-the-moment coverage on the hottest places to hunt and fish in your area. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-554-9000 now and get a full year of Field & Stream plus your free sportsman's knife. Call 1-800-554-9000. That's 1-800-554-9000.
Hi, my name is Rick, but everybody calls me The Rick, and this is my room. I got some pretty cool sports stuff around here. I got cards everywhere. There's a card of John Stockton. Lives in Utah. I haven't been there, but it's pretty cold. But he can stick the 3. And I, on occasion, have been known to stick the 3. I got a place out in my backyard, and I got the new distance and everything.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the 1998 Tour de France is brought to you by Mercury. Go ahead, imagine yourself in a Mercury. By Degree, the body heat activated antiperspirants and deodorant. And by Festina Watches, the official timer of the Tour de France. European styled, Festina watches are new to America.
Time to toast the yellow jersey, a day of celebration for Marco Pantani and his teammates. And right now, Adrian Karsten is with a man who should celebrate for years.
Congratulations. You're the first American on the podium in Paris since Greg LeMond, one of your heroes. All of a sudden, you have become a hero in American cycling.
I don't know what to say, man. This has been such a great ride, regardless of, you know, the ups and downs, but that's life. And I mean, today, the weather just totally mimicked the race. It was good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, and then good. And that's all that matters is the race. It's still the Tour de France, the best race in the world. And I mean, my hat's off to everyone that finished this race. I have a lot of respect for the people that stuck it out. And I mean, the Americans, every single one of us rose to another level this year.
Julich riding beyond all expectations this year. Well, here are the stage standings. Tom Steele wins his 4th stage this year. Stuart O'Grady fighting George Hincapie for that 3rd spot. Hincapie so close again, but finishes 4th today. When he was a teenager, he idolized Greg LeMond. Now a hug from his idol.
It would not have been possible if I did not, man. It would not have been possible without you.
You were awesome. I mean, you're going to have to win this now.
That's his plans in the future. Marco Pantani has won it. The Giro d'Italia, the Tour de France. He has proven that a pure climber can win the Tour. The overall standings look like this at the end of the 85th Tour de France. Marco Pantani on top. Jan Ullrich proving once again that he's a great champion. The one bad day in the Alps, but he came back so strong with the time trial. And for the first time since its idol did it in 1990, after having captured 3 yellow jerseys, Bobby Julich, an American rider, stands on the podium at the Tour de France. Kevin Livingston finishes 17th. And by the way, every American in the race finished in Paris. Well, Marco Pantani has fought through so much to get here, including a flat tire on the Champs-Élysées today. Lance, you know what it's like to come back from a serious illness or injury. You have to be impressed with the Pirate.
I really am impressed. He came back. Not only did he come back, but he came back super. When he crashed and fell off his bike, they said that he would never ride again, much less walk. To see him come back to win the Giro and the Tour in 1 year is absolutely phenomenal. And I think he's one of the biggest inspirations I've ever been around.
The 7th time that the Tour of Italy and the Tour de France has been won in the same year. The last man to do it before Pantani, the great Miguel Indurain. On so many different levels, this has been one of the most amazing races in Tour de France history. The controversy has not been settled, but you would hope that it doesn't overshadow completely the accomplishments of the riders. And Paul, Marco Pantani with a win that 2 years ago, no one would have believed he could pull off.
Well, they wouldn't have done, because 2 years ago, people thought Marco Pantani would never walk again, let alone ride a bike. But this year, he's proved that a climber can win the Tour de France. Not since 1976, when the Belgian Lucien Van Impe did a climber win the biggest race in the world. But he rode, for me, a perfect Tour de France, because we didn't see him for 10 days. He came back in the Pyrenees, pulled back 2 minutes, laid his foundations in the Alps of what was going to be a magic Tour de France finish for him. And, you know, at the end of it, he rode a great time trial.
Certainly remember Marco Pantani's win for a long, long time, but the effects of this tour is not over at this point. Phil Liggett, you've seen 26 of these. You've been a part of that for all these years. You told me it's the most amazing race you've ever seen. What about the Tour de France in the future? What kind of an effect will the controversy have?
Well, I've said it all along, and I'll say it again, none at all. This race is much bigger than a sporting event. It is a sporting institution. And you saw the number of people on the Champs-Élysées, as many as I can recall ever being here since the first time it came in 1975. The important thing is the sport of cycling has been hit very hard. It must take a real hard look at itself. We want the cheats out, and the only way to achieve that is to have better dope controls and to give much stiffer penalties for those who are guilty of cheating.
And the scene that every rider dreams of since he first races a bicycle, stepping up to the podium at the end of the Tour de France. And an American is there for the first time since 1990. Bobby Julich stands there alongside Marco Pantani and Jan Ullrich. For Pantani, he accepts the congratulations of his good friend Felice Gimondi, the last Italian to win the Tour de France. He's waited 33 years to pass the mantle. For Phil Liggett, Paul Sherwen, Lance Armstrong, and Adrian Karsten, and our entire crew, who has also survived an amazing 3 weeks in France, I'm Terry Gannon for the final time. So long from the 85th Tour de France. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
Welcome to the land of 10,000 lakes, the great state of Minnesota.